All right, part 2. Canadian soldier reacts to an American Marine reacting to Canadian boot camp.
The Canadian Basic Military Qualification, Part 2. Let's go.
Yes, a lot of them, it's very exciting because this is what they've been waiting for. For a lot of people, it's the realization that, wow, I am getting into this yet.
It's the recruit school. They're all big.
To be.
And I think the main thing is pride. When you wear your uniform and you're standing there and it's just something you feel, it's in your heart and you just can't,
yeah, that's true.
Walk away from that.
That's a refreshing thing to hear, what she just said.
Yeah.
Pride, right? You're in your uniform, you're proud of what you did. You're proud to accomplish something.
Yep.
There still is a glimmer of hope in people's eyes, right? They're proud to represent their country. Canada, the U.S., Mexico, fill in the blank. Patriotism, it's nice to hear that once in a while, where somebody's proud to do it, proud to serve, and they're not asking for anything. There still is that glimmer of hope in people's eyes that there's that patriotism, the thing they can't really buy or get from the internet. It's the pride they feel finishing this. Very refreshing.
Yeah, I still remember when I first put on my uniform, and somewhere during TQ2 they took pictures, and I still got the pictures somewhere. I don't know where, but yeah, that's definitely true.
This is where they lose all their civilian clothing. This will be the last day they actually work. We will show them how to work before they go for their supper tonight, and they will actually...
Head shaved, fitness tested.
Day 3? Yeah, that's about the same.
Fitted, and it's still week 0.
Today's day 3. What they do is we bring them here first thing in the morning, and they get their kit issued. Once that's all completed, everything's stuffed into a few bags. We'll actually go and do a complete inventory of all their kits.
Somebody lost it, can't find it. There's always that 10% of idiots.
Yeah, that happens.
Somehow they said, get 2 pairs of boots. The guy gets 1 pair. Or he gets a size 11 and a size 8 boot. Somehow that always happens in these trainings. No matter how much you baby people, they tend to screw it up.
Well, I don't know if that really happened because it's the supply techs that are giving you this stuff. And if you're signing, and we had to sign for everything, right? If you're signing for 2 pairs of boots, he's making sure you get 2 pairs of boots, and you don't have 2 off sizes. What happened most often was they would run out of sizes of pants or shirts or jackets for people because they were not one of the normal sizes.
It will make me sad if there's one nice person for me to yell at. I did all right! I did it! Do my right to command!
Want more parts? Let me know in the comments.
Don't get your rifle falling out right now! I did
Yeah.
not say move. Move!
Yeah, so a lot of that will happen.
Was I not clear? Yes, Sergeant! I wasn't.
Yeah, what he's doing there, he's doing a couple of things there. First of all, he's teaching them to pay attention, and he's purposely giving them commands that they could screw up, and then he's correcting them when they screw up, kind of forcefully. It gets worse. If you get really stupid, it gets worse.
Clear. You are Sergeant? Get a grip.
Now, I've seen them carry these sticks before. You guys have told me what they're called. Can't remember. I think it's a great idea. My problem is when I see that stick that this instructor's carrying, I know, if it were me, I'd end up whacking somebody with the thing.
Well, that's
I was an instructor. You guys ever been whacked with one of those sticks?
Yes.
They use them in the UK military. Obviously in Canada, love it. I wish the regular drill instructors carried them. If they get somebody's attention, I think it's an effective tool.
Yeah, so that's called a pace stick. And that's able to be set at specific pace settings, strides, basically. A certain number of inches. It's exactly the same as a square or a compass that you would use for drafting, but it's big enough to walk with. And there are big pace stick competitions for the sergeants and the warrant officers, at least in my battalion, where the drill that these guys do with those pace sticks is phenomenal. Like, I mean, there's some there's a lot of skill and a lot of training that goes into it. In the recruit school, at least when I was there, the master corporals were allowed to carry them too, but not in the battalion. And then I don't know if the British have the pay sticks or not. I know that British have the swagger sticks, which is basically almost like a riding crop, kind of a thing. It's completely different things. They might have pay sticks. I don't know.
You remember what's going on. You will be responsible for your kit. That includes a toolkit on an aircraft, which involves lives other than yours.
You see how the ball is second from the end, away from you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, so this is cool.
You know, that's a very important point he just made. It's not about you, right? He said, bring the bowl, get the bowl right. It's not about your bowl. It's about if you can't follow simple instruction, like you said, you're an aircraft mechanic. You don't follow instruction. You don't fix the airplane right. 50 guys die on the plane. It's very important you're dealing with stuff like this. It's like if you're a mechanic on a car and you mess up a brake line, it's an important thing, right? It's an important job. Same way you're in the military. You know, you're not serving hamburgers where somebody gets sick and they go home. This can come to something, and that's why they make such a big deal in these trainings, in the little tiny things, because in that 0.5% chance you're involved in something that matters, you could get somebody hurt beside you, and that's probably the bigger issue. It's not you getting hurt. It's 10 other guys getting the knock on the door with the flag, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing in the infantry. They're teaching them to pay attention to detail and to be meticulous because, I mean, they're talking about Air Force because that's what they are, but in the infantry, there are so many ways that you can screw up that gets everybody else killed if you're not paying attention to the details. So it's vital.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Now let's screw this up, counting off.
Start again!
This is what you want to do because it is challenging. It's very challenging.
How do you screw up a number?
Members of 25 Platoon. They are known simply as Minersky Platoon.
Minersky, huh?
I was 7 platoon, Korea platoon. I think, well, it's an RCR battle honor, definitely. I don't know if that's why it was named Korea platoon, though.
Private Slinsky, 669 Infantry, 00010.
Well, I've always been,
Brainy, nerd,
Infantry.
smart, picked on for it. I've never been a very physical person.
So London, Ontario is actually where I was stationed for the first 6 years of my career. It's a tiny, tiny base. Well, it's almost all gone now, but it was still a tiny base even back then in 1987. Sit right in the middle of London.
And I thought that was a deficiency in my character I should correct. This would be an opportunity to become a more physical person, a more well-rounded person, a more excellent person, and I thought that was a good idea.
You know, he's pretty self-aware. I like that in the guy. He said he's basically been always a smart guy, probably picked on. So this will help well-rounded, right? Go in the military. And it probably will. There's a lot of guys like that are, you wouldn't picture to be in the military, that are outstanding guys that are like him. You look at him, you go, looks like a dorky guy. But
Yeah,
those
there's a lot
kind of
of
guys
guys
shine through. Usually the guys that you think are the tough guys that are terrible.
Oh, tough guys, we call them assholes.
Flight Path 302, Supply Technician 00168.
So the number that they're quoting at the end, for us, it was our, well, when we started out, it was a social security number or a social insurance number. But then that moved to be our Canadian Forces identification number. And that actually changed at least once, if not twice, while I was in. I had a couple of different ones, which is weird. But there's whenever you talk to an instructor, there's a pattern of things that you have to rattle off, and that number is one of them. It's an identification number, basically.
I think I was up for the challenge, and my husband was also on Petawawa, and he came back from tour. It was just a really awesome feeling seeing him come home.
Well, that's interesting.
I want to be a part of that too. It was really, really cool.
Boring.
The problem with what she's talking about is that there is absolutely zero guarantee, or at least when I was in, there was zero guarantee that you two will be stationed together. Sometimes they can do it, but they have no real reason to put you two to the same place. So she could be sent off to another base.
Job.
Private Rose 301, Infantry 00010. I love every second here.
301.
Like,
301. 013. The MOC for infantry in Canada, or at least when I was there, was 013. I don't know what he's doing. And the cap badge, again, I don't know, maybe that is do they have a new cornflake? Because that does not look like the cornflake that I wore. So a cornflake, I've referred to this before, it's basically the tri-service badge of the Canadian Forces. It's the cap. So this is another thing, actually. So we didn't get our cornflake, our tri-service badge, until week 8, until after we successfully passed our saluting test. We wore our berets. Was it even berets? I can't remember if it was even berets or not. Yeah, it might have been berets or it might have been the forge cap. I can't remember. No, it had to be berets. It was berets. We wore those without anything until week 8. We did our saluting test. If we passed, we got that cap badge. And then we wore that for 2 weeks. And then we went to battle school, and they immediately tossed the cornflake and gave us our infantry badges. And then we didn't get our actual battalion, our actual regimental cap badge until we passed the entire training course. And I can't remember if we got them before or after we went to battalion, but we had to have passed the course first.
this is just a blast for me. Like, I don't know any other 17-year-old kids that can actually say they're in the military.
You know, at 17, I went when I was 17, it's very influential in your life, right? You're young, things so intense, it does imprint on you. And like the 33-year-old, those guys can add something to the 17-year-old because they're doing the same job, right? Totally different lives, but when they're working together, there is some learning experience you derive from this. You know, you've got a pretty big age gap here between the 17 and the 33-year-old. Now the 21-year-old, let's see.
At 17, I think you need your parents' permission. I don't think you're allowed to go on your own until you're 18.
I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. I know that my dad always wanted to be in the military, so that's a huge thing. I knew he was interested, and
that's not a good reason.
Too, so I wanted to try it out.
Private 49902 ADX 00135. It's something I pretty much always wanted to do since I've been about 6
All right, she's the 42-year-old. That's old to be in the military. I'm 48. I could do it fine if I had to, not in the Marines. Looks like we do this, but
I wouldn't
that'll
want to
be a
do it
big
now.
adjustment. You're not bouncing like the 17-year-olds. Now, I suspect her training's not going to be the same as the 17-year-old.
Oh, it should be.
If the standards to the average, which could be the 42-year-old, right, as far as physical standards, that would be a problem. So let's take a look at how she does. I'd be very curious how she can hold up with the 17-year-olds.
A girlfriend of mine, her sister joined, and I remember her coming home in her uniform, and I remember how proud she looked. And it's just something that I always stuck in the back of my head. Anyway, to make a long story short, one day I went into work, and I expressed to myself that I was considering, maybe joining the military. And they laughed at me. That kind of bothered me. So I went outside and took a break, and I came back in, and I said, I've been employed with you for 11 years. The only thing I've ever asked from you was respect. And you just might as well slap me in the face.
She's not wrong.
Well, she came in and I worked with her. She said, yeah, I'm going to go in the military. I don't know if I'd laugh. I'd probably laugh. Not because of her, just because she's 42. It's really not the age range you're looking for in the military. Now, I don't know enough about the Canadian military to speak to it, apparently. That's fine. It seems like it should be a hard go for her. I don't know what her job is. Think aviation tech or something. Let's keep watching.
Yeah, so there is a difference in the way a military person is going to react and a civilian is going to react. Two military guys talking, if you hurt yourself, they're going to laugh at you. That's just the way it is in the military. If you're going to get butt hurt over people laughing at you, you're not going to survive in the military. In civilian life, I can understand it, right? If your friends laugh at you when you say you want to do something that's difficult, I can see where she'd see it as disrespect. But I'll be honest with you, in the military, she's going to get a lot more of that.
See ya, adios, and here I am. That's it. So, basically a childhood dream, and we're going to give it a shot and see what happens.
God, I remember doing that.
We have as young as 17, and we have as old as nearly 50, and they are all, at this point, succeeding.
Each week, success is measured in kilometers, as Mynarski platoon is put to the test, military style.
I think 50 is just too old, honestly, to be in, like, as a private in the infantry. Now, if you have a unique skill set, let's say you're a physician, a pilot, something that is a skill that doesn't demand the physical component of it, maybe it works fine. Maybe the guy does great. There was some guy who was in the U.S. Army, I think. He was the oldest guy as a sergeant. Put that in the comments. Don't remember his name. Saw some news about an old guy, probably kicking ass. Some people can do it, but let's be real. Let's not focus on exceptions. Let's focus on reality. Most 50-year-olds aren't doing it, hence is why it's an age limit in the U.S. military.
Yeah, like I said in the last video, I think, and I'm not 100% certain, but I think it's if you can pass all of the tests, then you're in. And the tests are designed to figure out whether or not you're physically and mentally capable of doing the job. If you can do the job, I don't care.
Marching is a big part of basic training. Today's march is 3.2K.
Those are not, well, these are not bad. A lot of those were bad push-ups.
Mynarski platoon marches farther. Marches in preparation for the grueling 13K march they'll face in
10 miles is what we did.
All right, let's be honest here. 3.2-kilometer march is not very far. I think I walked that far to the store, the backpack on to get groceries. Now, saying that, okay, they're warming up. They got a big variety of guys. Some of these are going to be supply clerks. Some are going to be technicians of some type. 13 kilometers is the long march, shy, of 10 miles?
No, it's exactly 10 miles.
Don't find that to be terribly far. I'm assuming, put this in the comments if you know, that the infantry training, hopefully they start off slow, because if you go in there just doing 10 milers or 13 kilometers, and then you go to infantry training and they're expecting you to do 25, 30 miles, 45 kilometers, you're going to be in for a world of hurt and not be prepared.
Yeah, so we didn't do a lot of 25, 30-mile marches. We did what was called 2x10s. Whereas, one day we do 13 kilometers, the next day we do 16 kilometers. And it varied over the time that I was in. When it started out as a 2x10, 2 times 10 miles within 2 hours. So 10 miles the first day with a full ruck, with full gear. 10 miles the second day with full gear. And then by the time I get out, I think it was 13 kilometers, or maybe 10 or 13 kilometers the first day in full gear in under, like I said, I think 2 hours. And then the second day was with webbing, no ruck, but it was 16 kilometers or 16 miles, I can't remember which, in the same time. But that was it. That was the worst that we had to do. When we were out on exercise, it was not uncommon to do 20, 30 miles in a day through rough terrain. So, yeah.
First of four marches. As you can see today, we have no weapons, and we have the empty rucksack. As we progress with the weeks, we will add on some weight. In order to pass the 13
they're in the first week.
Will be done in week 9. This will be week 11. 13 march will be done week 9. Fully kitted, that means you'll have over 50 pounds of kit on your body.
50? We had 85 pounds. 50?
4 weeks in, and our 5 recruits have begun to hit their stride, in more ways than one.
You know, it looks like the worst part about this march is to be breaking in your boots. They have the old leather-style speed lace boots, 3.2 miles. Not much, obviously. Not much else to say there.
Already I can tell that I'm becoming a more confident person because I've never walked with my arms down before, and because of the constant marching, they just naturally go there now. And
yeah, she was texting before.
How you guys? I feel good.
How did you walk?
I know I'm shy, so...
I'm so happy I'm here. Like, I have never been, like, motivated to do my job so much, because before I came here, I had a job that I liked, but I didn't...
I'm amazed that she's sitting on the bed. Like, honest to God, we would make our beds at night and we would sleep beside them or under them. I mean, because getting them to the standard, you can see her ruler right there, getting them to the standard was hard. And sitting on the bed like that would pull it all out of whack. And if your bed was not up to standard, they would rip the entire thing apart or toss it over. Like, they were not kind.
I didn't really have the drive.
Oh, drill. So here's something that's going to be a newsflash to the Americans that are out there. There is, at least in the infantry, there is or was a saying, is pick it up 6, drive it down 12. When you're doing that 1, 2, 3, 1, that's to get everybody on the same cadence. But when you pick your leg up, you pick it up so that the foot is 6 inches off the ground, or that your knee is parallel to the ground. But then they say drive it down 12, because when you drive it down as fast and as hard as you can. You are stomping on the ground to create the loudest possible sound that you can.
It looks like marching or drilling is the same universal language, whether it be in Canada, the United States. Some nuances, like lifting the foot up high when you do a right face or left face, some of the terminology, instead of doing about face, I think they call it about turn in the UK, something like that.
It's about turn.
That part's very interesting.
It's right turn and left turn, too. There's no face.
What we call the same thing.
Going, Hanks. Do not slow this down, Hanks. The platoon is counting on you.
Arm swing's definitely different.
Oh, yeah.
I always find that to be somewhat sticks out at me because I'm so not used to seeing that. I think it was 9 to the front or 6 to the front, 3 to the rear, so kind of a short arm swing. In the U.S. Marine Corps, these guys have the more traditional, kind of longer swing of the arms. Is it a big deal? No. Is it interesting to watch the differences? Of course it is.
It's just discipline.
There's a lot of things I can do that I never thought I'd be able to, you know. We did 100 push-ups the other day. Someone would have told me a year ago I was going to do 100 push-ups. I would have said, yeah, you need another beer. You know what I mean?
I used to have an anger
She sounds like
and,
a Nova Scotia or a newbie.
I can't have that here. And it's been calmed down a lot. Learning self-respect, teamwork, definitely teamwork.
Get your left hand up. No, you're instructed to get your right hand up. You get your right hand up as soon as the movement is called the proper hand. Understood? Yes, Sergeant! It's your first time doing this. You do it at a time perfect. Understood?
Yeah, okay, see, none of them have cap badges yet.
Practice it on your own time, Max. Do it properly every time. Yes, Sergeant!
The oddest class we gave for drill is, of course, the marching, the turning,
and that sergeant there, he was being nice. Like, when you're correcting them, you're more forceful.
Yes. Everybody yelling, that sort of thing. And that's a purely physical class, but it requires a great deal of concentration and mental agility.
Drill instruction by itself is hard. I've given a lot of drill classes. They're not
and someone might
easy.
be yelling at you at the same time the command is given. So you got to be...
When you watch new recruits march, it's always a disaster, right? Their arms are out of sync, and they're not marching in step. That's just standard. These guys are no different. But you can really tell the difference with their arm swinging so far. One guy's arms back, one guy's arms forward. It's always the same with new recruits.
Your toes, more or less, all the time?
I think our
I'm not seeing anyone bear marching yet.
When we do drill, we all have to work as a group. We can't work as individuals because if we do, then it doesn't look right.
Our instructors are definitely leaders to us. They want us to,
Of course they
to
are.
learn, to improve, to build our confidence.
As I watch these guys train indoors, now it's cold, it's probably winter. Thought comes in my head. You guys put this in the comments. If you're in a cold environment, train there. Why not? If it's hot, train there. I don't see any reason to train indoors. Makes it easier, yes. But why not do it that way? At a minimum, you're in the environment that you live, that you may have to protect, heaven forbid. But I think that'd be important. If I were setting up the training, since no one asked, say train outside. If it's hot, you train outside. If it's cold, you train outside. You get used to it. Does that add a layer of stress? Of course it does. But that's the reality. You're not going to be training indoors. We did the same thing in Great Lakes for the Navy boot camp where it's cold as hell. They train inside. I still think they should change that. What's it going to hurt these young guys except they're going to learn patience when it's cold to march, how to utilize your weapon system when your hands are cold.
Yeah, so there are times that you need to do that and times that you don't. Right now, they're teaching these people basic drill instruction. You do not need to be out. In Saint-Jean, it can get down to minus 40 degrees in the winter. Like, you do not need to be trying to teach these kids basic drill in that kind of weather. Now, are there things that you need to do outdoors and you should be teaching them to do outdoors? Absolutely. When you're doing training for things that you will have to be doing outdoors, then yeah, absolutely. 90+%, maybe 100% of all of my training at battle school was outdoor. No, there was some classroom instruction. There was definitely some classroom instruction, but the vast majority of what we did was outdoors. So when you've got to be outdoors, absolutely be outdoors. But when you're teaching them basic drill, you do not need to be outdoors for that.
Don't say okay, Sergeant. Yes, Sergeant. Let's go.
Okay, Sergeant. No.
Yes, man.
I don't know, if necessary, to provide you with that encouraging word or the voice of reason or the calm bit of advice that'll help you get through a problem.
I remember that one.
One thing that recruit's missing with the glasses is what they give here in the States in boot camp. They're called BCGs.
Yeah, we're
birth control glasses, because they're so ugly that you're definitely not going to have sex or get pregnant. That's one thing I noticed here. He's got these wire rim glasses.
Movement, let's go. We'll be playing with it. You'll have 3 days to do it.
Don't be playing with it. You don't have 3 days. I like that.
My role as an instructor here at the Leadership and Recruit School is to instruct.
He's actually not bad, but you can tell that he's being quieter. I think he's being quieter than he normally would be.
Of Canada.
Yeah. What the hell?
Well, we definitely have a mix of instructors because some of them are really, really strict.
Yeah, he'd definitely be more aggressive, I think, normally.
Other ones are really, really friendly, relaxed, so you kind of need both.
If you want more videos like this, look at the card.
One sec.
Relaxed, so you...
I think that's a PPCLI cap badge. I think. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It's like I say, I've been out for 25 years now, but...
you kind of need both.
If you want more videos like this...
all right. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit different than when I went through. But all in all, keep in mind, right, this is the first 10 weeks, and they're just training them. They're just giving them the most basic understanding of what you need to be in the Canadian Forces. They're going to learn a lot more after this. Like I said before, infantry battle school after this is another 13 weeks of very intensive, significantly more intensive training than this. Some of the other trades are a lot longer. Like, I know some of the guys went into a year-long TQ3 course after this. This is just teaching you the absolute minimum that you need to start learning. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.